A lot of men growing up wishing they had a better father, a strong leader, a real role model, someone who showed up, at least showed them how to handle life, how to lead a family, how to stand strong when things got hard. But sooner or later, most men realize something, that if a man never showed up in your life, you might have to become him. Welcome back. Welcome back to the MR TOSO Experience, where faith, grit, and purpose come together to redefine what it means to be a strong man of God. I'm Marlo, and I'm sitting here with my brother Jay, and today we're talking about something that hits almost every man at some point in his life. Be the man you wish you had. Think about this. Think about be the father, be the leader, be the mentor, be the friend. Jay, let me ask you something right off the bat. When you hear that phrase or the phrase, be the man you wish you had, what does that mean to you?
Well, that phrase for a lot of men, it it hits deep.
Mm-hmm.
It hits deep because a lot of men growing up, they knew something was missing.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there was a father that wasn't around, or even worse, I think it's worse. There was a father that was around,
Yeah.
but he wasn't there.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah,
He
makes
was there
sense.
physically, but not emotionally, and and sometimes it was too harsh. And maybe he was there, but he was just being, hey, gun hold, you're gonna do what I say, and that's it. Um, in a way, that's good. You learn discipline, you learn a lot of stuff, but it can be overpowering. It can be how they say toxic nowadays. If it's too much onto the right side,
Right. Yeah.
or maybe someone never show you how to lead, how to discipline yourself, how to become a man. So unfortunately, a lot of guys grow up learning life through trial and error.
Mm-hmm.
It's just daily life, and you're like, man, if I had someone to teach me this from the get go or for the jump, I could have avoided this heartache, or I could have avoided this pain, or I could have avoided going to jail,
Mm-hmm.
or I could. There's a lot of things that a man could have showed, or a father could have showed, or a leader could have showed, or a mentor could have showed a young person
Mm-hmm.
that can essentially, help them avoid a lot of things.
True. That makes sense. When I think about not having that example, let's just use for instance, I'm a father. I'm struggling, but not really understanding why I'm struggling,
Yeah.
or or not even knowing that I'm struggling. But we can see the landscape of the family dynamics, the household, and then we come along. Maybe someone else that's coming along that may say something, or we might see something. It says, "Man, the reason why I'm acting out this way is because I didn't have that in my life." So I believe once we're able to see what that is that we're missing,
Hmm.
then we have the opportunity to say, okay, I want to be that.
Yeah.
And I believe once that comes, that's where that shift happens. Because we can stay stuck in that particular place, not knowing what and how, and keep saying, well, I have a dad. My dad wasn't around. My dad left. My dad was incarcerated.
Hmm.
My dad died. You know, my mom may have had friends, but they wasn't like that to me. They may have been her boyfriend, may have been her husband,
Yeah.
but may not have been that father figure. So we can find ourselves continually having this excuse, and it becomes a cycle. It becomes a
Hmm.
repeating cycle, and we grow up and we bring our kids up in that same manner.
Yeah.
I go back to what I've shared in times past. Our experiences forms our belief. Our experience
Mm-hmm.
shapes that. So if that's what we may have seen growing up, that typically will repeat itself
Yeah.
until that cycle is broken. And that's kind of where we are
Yeah.
right at the moment. But when a man decides to step up and become the example, that's where generational changes begin.
Absolutely.
Because, I had a father in my life, and I believe I had a good father in my life. He didn't teach me everything, but he taught me enough where I know what a father looks like when a father spends time with his children. And that's what my dad did. My dad spent a lot of time with my brother and I, whether it was neighborhood activities, whether it was sports in recreational city parks, whether it was going to school, he was there. I see my dad, he helped us with homework. There's a lot of things he did,
Wow.
you
That's
know,
good.
and in some cases we see a mother doing a lot of those things,
Mm-hmm.
helping with the homework, going to the PTA meetings, going to the play, being the soccer mom in a sense.
Yeah.
But that was my dad. That's what he did. He did all those things. My mom had a different lane that she operated in. She had a very strong work ethic. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what we learned from her. Take care of your home, know how to cook, how to clean, how to work hard. And so I think I had a decent balance.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean we live this non-challenging life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes, that's for any of us. I know I have some good attributes. Kim has some attributes, but that doesn't mean that we live in this perfect family dynamics. But I believe once we get to the point of acknowledging and recognizing it, we can begin change and breaking that cycle.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So my circumstance was a little
Hmm.
different than yours.
Right, right.
um, I did have a father, of course. He was in the picture,
Hmm.
but he wasn't in the picture
Got it. Follow you.
for most of my life since I can remember. He was there, but he wasn't there until the point where my mom and him were having really, really bad um, marital problems, and then they decided, you know what, they're going to call it quits.
Got it.
Then he wanted to become dad,
Mm.
but by then I was already in my teens, and I didn't already have my life established, but I had learned a lot,
Of
and
course. Of course.
and so yeah, mine was totally different. Whatever issues they had between each other
Hmm.
or whatnot. Like I said, I'd see him. Well, I wouldn't see him in the morning. He'd get up early to go to work. Um, so I'd miss him in the morning. When I come home from school, um, I'd maybe see him maybe 5 minutes. He'd get home, get dressed, and then go to his friends or wherever he would go. I don't know.
Right, right.
So it was a whole different outcome. But again, like you said, breaking the cycles. I am at least now that I have time to do it. Before, when I was in the pawn shop business, it consumed a lot of my
Yeah,
my
yeah, I can
time.
understand that.
I was there for my kids when I was there, uh, the most I could be, because even then it still consumed a lot. Like on your days off, it wasn't really your days off.
Yeah,
You-
yeah, that's for sure.
especially being a manager, it's just like, man, you didn't really have a day off, and the vacation was like, hey, there's an issue come up, so you have to be on the phone, and
Oh my goodness.
yeah.
Oh
So,
yeah.
but now that I have more time on my hands, yeah, man, I'm trying to break this cycle from what I grew up with, and my mentoring. Um, we actually did this beginning of the year. Uh, my family and I, we right after the New Year's, we got together and we prayed and we're like, hey, I just declare that I'm breaking the cycle, which means that I'm deciding for my family that this
Hmm.
is where the pain stops. This
That's
is
good.
where
That's good.
any kind of ancestral chains that are been put on my family. This is where it stops with
That's
me.
good. That's good, Jay.
It's not passing any more past me. That's it.
That's good.
And now I'm trying to teach my kids different. And yes, they have other people they speak to other than me,
Of
which
course.
is fine
Yeah.
because a lot of times that they, especially my oldest son, he has other friends and he tells me what they say or
Mm-hmm.
whatnot. I'm like, okay, good. They're teaching, they're steering them the right way.
Good. Good. Good.
Um, and that's really all you can hope for is the people they're around. And it's just, man, that they teach them, they steer them the right way, and that just becomes another mentor, that's teaching him other than his father. So it's important to have these, other people, because for some reason kids, they listen to you but they don't hear you, or they hear you but
Yeah.
they're not listening to you.
Yeah.
Like I think I had this, we said this in one of the other podcasts, and we just spoke about this again. uh so Donovan, my oldest son, he goes to these conferences, and then one time he came home. He was like, "Oh man, it was really good. They were talking about this, and it's all about business conferences."
Mm-hmm.
And I just looked at him and I said, "I just told you the same thing, like almost word for word, like 2 weeks ago." And he just like stood there. He's like, "I remember you telling me
Yeah. Yeah.
that."
It's just amazing how, and I'm more than sure many fathers can echo that same thing.
Yeah.
I have a brother-in-law, and him and I we speak all the time, and some of our kids are around the same age,
Hmm.
and him and I we talk often, and a lot of times it's about life. It's about whether it's manhood, fatherhood, raising children, husbands. We talk about an array of different things. And he was saying, "Man, Low man," he called me Low for short. He says, "Low man, man, I was just saying the same exact thing. Well, maybe you need to go talk to him. Well,
Yeah.
maybe you need to go talk to him."
Hmm.
And sometimes, it just resonates different, coming from a different source, even though it's the same message.
Yeah.
But then you said, I said the same thing. Dude, it's like you come in like you heard that for the very first time.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But, because sometimes all they see is us as fathers.
Exactly.
They may
Yeah.
not see the entrepreneur side of us. They
Hmm.
may not see the business side. They may not see a different side of us outside of, oh, that's just dad.
Yeah.
Or that just pops, or whatever the case may be. Uh, but, it's good that, like, well, for me, all of my children are of age. They're adults. You
Hmm.
still have one still underage in a sense, but we know that they will have other influences,
Yeah.
whether it's at school, at the workplace, or even their own peers.
Hmm.
And lots of times they're bringing some of the things that they may have learned. Some of those things has great value, and some not so much.
Yeah.
And so we just hope that our children, when they are in those different spaces, that they're really taking it in, but they're also deciphering what that information is,
Hmm.
versus saying, "I'm gonna make that a part of who I am."
Yeah.
Because everything that sounds good is not always for you,
Hmm.
and we live in a time where information comes very quickly,
Yeah.
and we see a quick clip about somebody's success and how they did it. They don't give you all the details, but they just show, "Man, I made $1 million doing this."
Yeah.
You heard a 30-second clip. They gave a few pointers. Now you're ready to run with it.
Hmm.
But you don't know the backstory of that,
No,
of
exactly.
all the things that has
Led up to
that
that.
led up to that. And so,
Hmm.
man, when we think about, being able to be something to someone else, it's like, that's a great thing. That's a great thing, being someone else. When we talk about being that encourager, being that motivator,
Hmm.
you know, Uh, even for myself, I think about here when we talk about, and the truth is, every man listening right now probably have something he wish he had growing up.
Yeah.
Whether it was a father that spent more time with you, a leader who believed in you, a mentor who showed you the right path. But the powerful thing is this: you can become that person for someone else.
That's true.
When I think about my upbringing, when I think about my transition from leaving my parents' home to going in the military, that was a big shift for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm leaving under the roof of my parents that provided shelter, food, and care for me. Now I'm transitioning to a place where now I'm taking ownership of that, but now there's other authority figures in my life now.
Yeah.
Now they're the ones. Now they were there were soldiers. Once again, I was in an all male unit.
Yeah.
I'm going into the unit right at 20, 21 years old. So I have sergeants, staff sergeants, first sergeants. These guys are sometimes 15, 20 years older than I am.
Wow.
Some of them have children my age. So in some
Yeah.
senses, even though that they're professionals, there's some of them are still bringing a father-like mentality to their responsibility. So some of the things my father couldn't teach me, guess what? Somebody else was teaching me that.
Yeah.
The things, the places where my father couldn't lead me, others was leading me. Where my father couldn't mentor me, others began to mentor me.
Yeah.
So I've learned that over especially in my military career, man. I tell people all the time, man, those 8 years of my military life, I wouldn't trade that in for nothing. I learned so much from that. And I took those same things that I've learned, those disciplines, and I taught those to my own kids. So once again, the things my father couldn't be to me,
yeah,
somebody else was. A plethora of people. But now I was able to be that to my own kids. So I look at that like what we're talking about. Maybe I didn't have everything that my father and mother provided. But along the way, the Lord allowed others to come in my life to be that.
Yeah, definitely.
Now I can be that to my own children, but not only them. I can be that to other people that I come in encounter with. And that's what and when we talk about, you can become the person for someone else. And so when we think about the scope of our influences, our circles, some circles might be closer than others. Where you have those more confidant type conversations where you can really get to the root cause of something.
Yeah.
And you're able to help someone. Or maybe you have a little bit of outer circle where you're just having general conversations and you're able to drop in a few nuggets here and there about maybe being a mentor, being the father, or maybe being a leader in someone else's life, man. So for me, I like this where we are because I want to be able to pour into other people while others pour into me. Because though I'll be 55 here in the next short week and a half or two, I am still learning.
Oh yeah, we'll never stop.
I still want. I've never been a father of adult children before, so I'm still learning how to navigate that to have an adult children, 36 years old, all the way down to 24. To have 7 grandchildren, I'm still learning. So there are other men that are out there that says, "Marl, I've been there.
Yeah.
I've done that.
Yeah.
Let me show you what that looks like." Or as we go into business, yes, I've done different things, but I need other people in my life to help mentor me in those things.
Absolutely.
So at some point along the way, somebody's going to become that for me.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And yeah, we'll pause there for a second on what you were saying. Sometimes, like you said, sometimes advice is not always good advice. And I was just, we were just talking about this. So it's weird. So I was telling my oldest son and his girlfriend, we were having a sit down. I was like, look, I hope y'all can take some kind of advice from us, being we're married so long,
Of course.
if y'all ever considered y'all want to start getting married, y'all want to do that, y'all go that route. I hope y'all at least consider us
Of course.
somewhat.
Definitely, man. Definitely.
you
Definitely.
know, because it's just kind of like if you go ask a homeless guy for advice on financial stuff, he's gonna give you advice.
Right.
It's not gonna be the right one. He's gonna say,
Right.
"Oh, you want tax free money here? Let me show you how to come get it." He's gonna stand right here for a couple hours. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna make money. It's tax free,
Right.
but it's
Right.
not
Yeah.
good advice.
True. Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and we need when our kids start going their own route, doing their own thing, and start meeting new people. All we can do is just pray that good people do come in their life
Of course.
and pour in good stuff. That way.
Definitely.
But that comes with also with teaching them. Hey, these kind of people, kind of stay away from them.
Right.
It comes with discernment. It comes with them having their own relationship with God. Of course, you teach them, you know, what you can, but then you're gonna have to let God do the rest.
For
Because
sure.
at the end of the day, they're walking their own path of faith and
Exactly.
their own walk with God. And we can only do so much, but if you pray for them and you instill in them, hey, good morals, then they're going to be less prone to going one way and meeting certain kind of people. Because
Sure. Yeah.
if like I told my son, I was like, look, I've been out there at 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. There's nothing good out there at that time.
Right.
There's nothing good out there at that time. Like,
Yeah.
trust me, I've been
Yeah.
out there. I've done that life. There's nothing good.
Yeah.
And if you don't teach them and you don't talk to him about it and just keep on telling them, one day he's gonna be out there and like, oh, and what kind of people is he gonna meet at that time?
True. Yeah.
You know,
True. Yeah. So true.
so like, and you're saying about practical examples. We got to get examples. Let's make this real. You know, if you're a dad or not, or you're thinking of becoming a dad, you know, be the father that you wish you had. That means you have to be present. It's not just being there and on the lazy boy and hey,
Right.
give me a glass of water or give me a Coke or whatever your poison is. That means listening to your kids. Um, you'll be surprised. I remember vividly my younger when they were younger. We just hey, let's go to the store, or or like, get your scooter, let's go for a walk, and you just ask one question, and them kids, man, they would not shut up.
Oh yeah, man. Wow.
As kids, they will blab and blab about whatever. Now that they're older, it's kind of like it's kind of like pulling teeth. Like, say something to me, let's
Exactly.
talk.
That's so true. That's so true, man.
But man, I enjoyed those moments. Like in their little moments, maybe 10, 20 minutes, and you just let them blab about whatever, and
True.
it's just soak it in because man, those days pass by fast.
They do, man. They do. When I look at I look at my grandchildren. When we spend time with them, whether we here in Texas or when we visit Colorado, time does move quickly.
Oh my gosh,
It moves quickly.
it does.
And just recalling when they were just infants, and now our oldest will be driving soon,
Wow.
and then we have one who's just about three, maybe about 4 or 5, about 5 months right now. It's like, man, that time is going, and when we spend time with them, they all have their own individual personalities.
Yeah.
And and here's just as an example, because let's say you are a father and you didn't have the opportunity to be that father to your own children, but now you have grandchildren. You can be that to them.
Man, I can't wait,
Yeah,
I
you can
keep
be that to
saying,
them.
yeah, I can't.
And
I always say that.
so I have an opportunity to be able to instill some of the things that I instilled in my own children into their children. And obviously, we live in a whole different time, with technology and other things. And so, you know, being able to just spend time with them, it can be challenging. It's just because I don't have as much energy as I had then than I have now. Because when you're in the thick of it as a parent, it's like you're on 100, and you have that window. I would say for myself, where you're not engaging with younger children like that on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
You start to really settle. You know, your home is not. It's a whole lot quieter than it was back in the days.
Yeah.
There's not as much movement, and so when they do show up, or when we do go to Colorado, it's 100. It's gone. It's going. It's going. It's going. And so
Yeah.
just being able to adjust and adapt to still be that example for them. To to as a believer, we think about the Apostle Paul. He says, "Follow me as I follow Christ." In a very simple term, imitate me as I imitate Christ.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, okay, I need to ensure that I am Christ-like before them in practical ways that they can relate to.
Yeah.
Whether it's sharing toys, cleaning up after themselves, being respectful, all of those little different things. And so, I look at that. I look at that as being one practical example. Because sometimes as fathers, we take on a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You're not just father, but you're provider. You're taking care of the home, and some women may not fully understand that from a man's perspective.
Yeah.
And when we fail at something, that can carry with us for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
I have a good friend of mine. He lives out here, and he shares. He says, "Man, low man, when I look at you and your family, man, I wish we'd have done things differently, my wife and I." And he says, "Man, I haven't spoken to some of my kids in years.
Wow.
I have grandkids that I never met."
Mm-hmm.
And it's like he may have missed out on the opportunities with them. Preferably at some point, reconciliation can happen,
Yeah.
and he might be able to instill that into his grandkids of what he couldn't do for his own kids.
Mm-hmm.
And these are real life moments that people are experiencing. And and if it's not with your own kids or not your grandkids, maybe there's some people that will come along the way where you could be that example for.
Yeah. Definitely. That's sad.
That is sad.
I
That
mean,
is sad.
unfortunately, like I don't know if I can do that. Like my kids know, like I'm so ready to be a grandpa.
Right.
And I think a lot of it has to do with um, just working a lot.
Yes.
When I was with
Yes.
and I explained that before, like with my
Mhm.
older son, yeah, I did miss a lot, but when I was there, I was there.
Makes sense.
Um, there was a lot of things I missed, birthdays or whatnot, when duty calls. But you know, back to our practical examples. Another example would be that means showing them how to be a man of integrity. This one
Mhm.
here, I think this one needs to be more emphasized than the rest of them, in my opinion, because
Mhm.
you being integrity and what it looks like, you can carry that on for the rest of your life.
True.
It's just there's something about a guy that walks with integrity and shows it, because I show my sons these all the time, and I've seen them do it, and I tell them, I said, look, coming from a manager's position,
Mhm.
I said, my oldest, I'm like, you're going to, when he was younger, he's going and starting the workforce. I'm like,
Mhm.
look, this is what people look at,
Correct.
Now, when you go in somewhere, treat it as you're the manager. Don't go in there and say, hey, you do this. You're like, dude, this is your
Right.
first day. Like, no. So, example, when you're going to your store or when you're going to your business and there's a paper on the floor, bend over and pick it up.
Right. Right.
You might not have dropped it, or you might have seen the person that dropped it.
Mhm.
Bend over and pick it up.
Yeah.
Throw it away. You don't know who's watching.
For sure.
You want your place of business to be clean, whether it's yours or not. and that's gonna carry a lot of weight with if a manager happens to see you, or if the owner happens to see you, like,
Yeah.
who's that guy? Why,
Yeah.
picking up trash that he's not even, we have people to do it or whatnot, but
Mm-hmm.
he's doing it. Hey, that shows a lot of integrity. That shows, he was raised right.
Oh yeah, right. Yep. Yep. True. True.
And
True.
I do that. I don't go around picking up trash, but hey, if I'm in a store and they've seen that before, and we're going
Mm-hmm.
through an aisle, and I'm like, oh man, look, someone dropped it. I'll bend over and pick it up, put it
Yes.
back on the shelf. Like, I know it's not my job. I know they have people to do it there, but hey, it's just, I'm there already. Let's do it. It's not costing me anything
Yes.
to do it. Um, and if you ever decide you're going to go into business yourself,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to carry that with you.
Makes
You're
sense.
going to carry that with you. That your if you have an office, it's going to be organized. You have your wherever you're set up. If you're in construction, you're going to want things a certain way.
Yes.
You're building a house. Okay, hey, when y'all done, y'all need to clean up.
For
So
sure.
I don't
Yep.
need beer cans
Exactly.
everywhere. Saying, yes, I know it's a construction site, but we could still have a little integrity.
Definitely. Definitely.
So that goes a long way, and I think that's needs to be taught more with the kids nowadays. Oh, I didn't drop that. No one said you did. But
Exactly.
pick
Yeah.
it up. And
True.
if you did drop it, definitely pick it up.
That it makes
I
sense.
see
Makes
that
sense.
more often than none. And just like, and then they throw it on the floor. Like, oh man, that's one of my pet peeves. I cannot, deal
And
with.
and that's true, Jay. And when you look at, obviously, as fathers, we have firsthand experience with our children.
Hmm.
It starts there.
Yeah.
Now, let's say you're on your job. Excuse me. Edit that out.
Yeah.
But
Get a coffee after this.
yeah.
We should have one before.
Yeah. But man, I'm just saying, when I was on the job, I'll go to the lens crafters because I spent bulk of my time there.
Uh-huh.
Where I was in management. While I was there, I had an opportunity to lead others.
Hmm.
And one thing I learned in the military, it says, they really teach us, train to lead, train to lead. I went through
Hmm.
this one course, train to lead. And so
Yeah.
that was one of our mottos when I was in this particular program. And, it also teaches us that you can be a manager and not a good leader.
Definitely. Yeah.
You can manage systems and processes, but not take what you learn to teach others
Hmm.
and leading them in the right direction. And I had an opportunity to be able to lead many, many different people, from their inception to them moving to different levels within the organization. And so I look at that and I says, man, those are great opportunities to invest in someone else's career, even if they surpass me
Yeah.
at some point.
Hmm.
At some point. And then I look at, and what that looked like was being able to understand who they were, what their goals were, how they and how they were trying to get there. And that meant spending a lot of one-on-ones, having a lot of different conversations
Hmm.
over time. And when you says, you know, be a leader to someone else, if you didn't have it, okay, you can go by your experience. I didn't have someone to sit down and talk to me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna find someone that I can sit down and talk to.
Hmm.
I didn't have someone that really believed in me. Okay, I'm gonna find someone that I can believe in.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're not always right in front of you. Sometimes you may have to do a little bit work to figure that out, or to identify them. Sometimes when you're not in a manager's role, that might be hard.
Hmm.
But we don't need a title to lead. That's the other misconception. You can lead without a title.
Yeah.
Those attributes and behaviors are already in you. It could be a team member, somebody on your team. You guys are peers, but there's something you have that you see that they might need.
Hmm.
You can be able to come alongside them and help them grow in the particular area where you're striving in. or vice versa, man. There's so many different examples in which we can definitely pull out. But I think it's us really taking the time and says, okay, Lord, who are those that are around me within my family, whether it's your immediate family or extended family, or when I go to the marketplace, who I work with, or maybe it's your business. Who else that's around me that I can invest in? And so man, there's so many angles in which we can take when it comes to practical examples or
Yeah.
simplified ways to pour into someone else, to be that for them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like even as be a friend that you wish you had. You
Exactly.
know
Yeah.
that a lot of times that means showing up when things get hard. You know, yeah, you might be going through stuff, but maybe their issue is a little harder than yours. You're like, you know what, mine is not as bad. Yes, I may, whatever the situation may be, and they need your help. A lot of
Mhm.
times we're like, well, I got my own stuff to worry about, But being that friend, we're like, you know what, hey, I got my own stuff I got to worry about, but I'm gonna put that aside. I see you
Mhm.
really need help. Let's try to figure something out. And someone who tells the truth that comes with integrity. You
Mhm.
know, even when it's uncomfortable, the truth always gonna prevail.
For sure.
And a lot of times it is uncomfortable. They always how they say it, the truth hurts.
Oh yeah.
Um, but even then, I think there's a line between telling the truth and actually getting back at someone.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, so that's a whole different podcast that we
Right. Yeah. That's for sure,
can,
man. Definitely. Definitely. Definitely.
that's a whole different podcast. But again, if you have kids yourself, or you're a manager yourself, or you're a business owner, let's start showing these this new generation some integrity.
Yeah.
How to, I guess from the basics, how to dress properly. Let's
Yeah.
let's let's pull these pants up, guys. Like there's no need, you know. Let's bring back style. I know they say that, oh, that's the flex, or that's their stilo or whatnot. Yeah, that's fine, but let's have a little integrity when we go out, and the way we dress, the way we look, um, the way we speak to others. There's a lot that goes into that. You know, at when especially when you're one on one with someone,
Mhm.
and you have that authority. Yeah, pull them aside. Hey, man, let's
Yeah.
let's pick up these pants, or you
That's for
know,
sure.
and or hey, wash the pants. And then
Truly.
that goes from being another example that just came to mind. Um, if you're at a workplace and you see someone that has the same clothes on a couple times a day, I mean a couple times a week, what does it cost you to go to Walmart? Hey,
Mhm.
what size you wear, man?
Right. Right. Yeah.
I've done that before.
Yeah.
Guys bless me, so I say, you know what? Hey, what size pants you wear? Oh, okay, cool. Here's some jeans. Here's some
Hey,
pants.
that'll work, man. Look,
'Cause you never know what they're going through.
you don't. You
And
don't.
$15 pair of jeans, that means a lot. It
That can
means the
go a long
world.
way for
It
them, for
can go a
sure.
long way. It's definitely going to stick with them the rest of their life. It's like, man, who's this guy that I barely
Right.
know? And that's part of being a leader, not a boss. A boss
That's
will say,
true.
hey, go get you some pants tomorrow. I
Right.
need you to don't come to work tomorrow in them same pants. That's a
Right.
boss.
Yeah.
A leader's like, hey, here you go, man.
That's true. And and also I would take that even a step further, because sometimes, as you mentioned, they may be going through things,
Mhm.
and if you're leading them, you can easily pull them to the side. Hey, man, I just want to say, how you doing?
Yeah.
Man, I'm doing. No, how you really doing?
Hmm.
Because when a person recognizes that you really care about them, you're not just it's just not. the fluff,
Yeah.
they'll begin to open up and realize, man, oh, he really cares.
Mm-hmm.
And then you might find yourself them opening up to a degree where you know how to help them.
Yeah.
And like I said, in that situation come up and say, hey man, I noticed that, you know, your dress attire, you know, let me take care of this for you.
Yeah.
Whatever that might be, man. And I tell you, I've had so many of those, Jay, over the years. When I say, how things going with you outside of work.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to pry, but I understand. But I see that, something has shifted.
Yeah.
You haven't been yourself lately. Or maybe you have been short with customers.
Mm.
Or maybe, you've been coming in a little bit late. You know, and then when a person says, oh man, they really care about me, not just the business, not just the numbers.
Yeah.
Because we know at the end of the day, no matter who you have on your team that's working for you, what they do or don't do impact the business one way or the other.
Absolutely.
And so when you're looking from a leadership perspective, you want to make sure that you're taking care of your people,
Mm-hmm.
not just from a business perspective, but also from a personal perspective. Now, granted, there can be lines you don't want to cross, but at the same time, you want to make sure that you at least you're making some type of connection with them. And if you can't help from a business perspective, you do.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this story. This one gentleman was going through a divorce. We didn't know it initially,
Mm-hmm.
but we knew that something was not there because he was not himself.
Mm.
You know, he was working on in our laboratory manufacturing glasses, and products was coming out incorrect, and that wasn't the norm.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on, man? And after a few different conversations, we finally get to the point. He says, Marlon, I try to keep my personal life separate from work. But he says, I just feel that I can at least share this with you. He said, I'm going through a divorce and it's definitely impacted me.
Yeah.
And so I said, okay, look, I said, I've never been through it. I don't know what that experience is. I don't know what that feels like. But I says, what could I do to help? Do you need some time off? He said, I can use the time off, but I don't have the vacation time to take. I said, okay, well, let's do this. Let's just work some longer days, and then I'll give you some days off. So
Mm-hmm.
instead of working 8 days, 5 days a week, won't you give me 4 days, working 10 hours a week?
Okay.
You have an extra day off.
Yeah.
I said, we're working amongst your team to cover you on that one day. But I said, let's try that for a while and let's see if that helps in some ways.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we didn't have a 410 schedule. Nobody works that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't work that as the manager.
Yeah.
But I looked at it and said, okay, I have the opportunity to help this coworker in their life, but still be committed to the organization.
Mm-hmm.
After a while, he come back and says, Marlon, that one day made a big difference. I appreciate you what you did. And I don't know how that may have impacted him long term.
Yeah.
But he come back and says, okay, I appreciate what you did. Sometimes as leaders, we have to make a decision that's not the norm.
Mm-hmm.
Or that's not the status quo. And so, man, I'm not bragging or boasting about myself, but I had a very low, I had high retention, low turnover.
Yeah.
In the course of my tenureship, and you talking about over 15 years. It stayed. It I had some very good numbers outside of people relocating because it was a military town.
Mm-hmm.
We hired a lot of dependents from the military, so after 2 or 3 years, they're gone.
Yeah.
Or we finally hire them 1 year before they leave and they move on.
Mm-hmm.
But I can say, I had some good leaders. That's why I believe some of the things that I did because it's others that did for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's for sure, man. But I think, also, Jay, when we think about who we are and what we do,
Mm-hmm.
people are watching.
Oh, all the time.
It's
Uh-huh.
it's our family, our children, our in-laws, it's our co-workers, it's the community, it's our business partners.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone is looking and listening. They may not always say something, but they're definitely paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe we can be things to other people without saying anything. We can be the leader because people can watch us lead.
Yeah.
They don't have to see us telling people and directing, but they can see us. They can watch us how we talk to people, how we come to work on time, how we get things done, how we're a team player. Or there could be others looking from the outside looking in, how you talk to your wife,
Mm-hmm.
how you deal with your children, how you take care of business. We can do all that without saying one thing to someone,
Mm-hmm.
just watching us.
Well, yeah, that's that old saying: actions speak louder than words,
It
and
does.
that is so true, man. That is so true. I mean, the way you present yourself, and it just goes back again to integrity. You
Yeah.
know, you come to work, you're have your, you brush your hair, brush your teeth are brushed, got deodorant on, a little spray of
Right, right.
cologne, and it's consistent.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing is consistency, and you do that day in and day out. Like, man, this guy got it together, and you
Oh
might not
yeah.
have it together, but it's instilled into you from whoever your father or another
Mm-hmm.
mentor showed you. Hey, that was one thing one of my grandfathers showed me. Don't matter where you're going. If you're going to the corner store, or you're going to Walmart, or you're going out on a date,
Mm-hmm.
you got to dress appropriate. You
That makes
know,
sense, man.
again, nowadays you can go to Walmart right now, and I guarantee you will see 3 or 4 people in their pajamas still. Like, come
Yeah,
on,
you're gonna see them
like,
young ladies with them bonnets on their head,
and like
house slippers.
just the other day, we were took one of my sons to the dentist, and we're sitting in the car waiting, and I look over, I'm like, what? This guy
Yeah.
had a full on robe,
Wow,
like
man.
robe
Wow.
and slippers. I'm like, dude, and he was coming out of Kroger, and I'm like, come on, man. I'm like,
Yeah.
milk wasn't that important to where you
Exactly. Yeah.
you couldn't throw on some jeans or some shorts or whatever, and that just goes along with having some integrity. Yes, I might be just going to the store, or I might, I'm going on a date or whatnot. People see you the way you dress, whether you like it or not.
That's true, man. I think having standards.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have a standard, you're stand for anything.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is what are you saying about yourself?
Yeah.
First impression says a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you go to an interview, that's the first thing an hiring manager is going to see. Whoever's the interviewer is going to see
Mm-hmm.
how you present yourself.
Yeah.
You know, if you're coming in, not now, your situation might be, you may be in a situation where you may not have the right attire.
Mm-hmm.
That happens. I've seen that before.
Yeah.
And and I kind of overlook that in some ways and say, okay, I'm not sure of their situation, but we're gonna keep going with this interview.
Yeah.
And if the interview went well, I would say, hey, I said one thing that concerns me, or I like you maybe you can address is how you came to the interview.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to just give them an opportunity to explain their situation.
Yeah.
Whether, hey, look, I'm down on my luck right now. I just don't have it. This is what I have.
Mm-hmm.
This is my best.
Yeah.
Hey, I appreciate the honesty and
Absolutely.
openness,
Yeah.
but you being able to cover that, and I made exceptions a few times. I says, okay, well maybe this is an opportunity to change the game for him
Mm-hmm.
or for her. Or it's like they come dressed that way and very arrogant. I said, well, the buck is gonna stop right here. We're not going any
Yeah.
further.
Yeah.
I think I probably interviewed I probably in the course of my time, Jay, I probably interviewed about 1,000 people, if not more than that. And
Mm-hmm.
so, I've seen all facets of different things and
Yeah.
being able to deal with it. But appearance says a lot.
Oh, definitely.
Appearance, whether, like you said, whether it's the first date,
Mm-hmm.
or you meeting the parents, or like I said, just going to the stores. Like, man, do we have any? I'm trying. I can't even find the word that I'm really looking for. But do we care enough about ourselves
Mm-hmm.
to walk out the house presentable?
Yeah.
Presentable.
Mm-hmm. And that's something we show our kids. And that was showed to me. My grandfather, same thing. You look okay, because being a kid, you
Yeah.
tend to spill something. Hey, just brush it
Yeah.
off, and
Right.
okay, you're good. And then when it dries up, you got a big old
Oh
stain on
yeah.
it.
Right.
You're like, no, you're not gonna go out like that. The same thing when I had kids. Like, okay, we're gonna go to a party, or we're gonna go to the store, or
Mm-hmm.
whatever the case may be.
Right.
We're leaving the house. You have your house closed, that's fine. But once you're stepping out and you're going to go out,
Yeah.
then you take those off. Those
Oh
are
yeah.
house clothes for a reason. Those are the
Exactly.
ones that you're real comfortable in. That's fine. But
Mm-hmm.
when you go out into the world, like you said, first impressions are everything.
Yep.
Not everything, but they're a major thing, because you can miss an opportunity, that wants to talk to you,
Mm-hmm.
or can talk to you, but they're like, man, you know, it can be a business opportunity, and you're out there looking like a bum,
That's so true, man. That's so true.
and
That's
like,
so true.
man,
It says a lot, man. And it just life, man. Just life in itself. When we every day, I try even going to the gym. I'm mindful of what I wear.
hmm
When
yeah,
I'm in the community, I'm mindful of my appearance. Because like I said, you never know who's watching,
definitely.
and you're becoming the example to someone else.
hmm
Whether you think they're noticing you or not, you're becoming that example.
hmm
And especially as I get older, now I'm not this 20-year-old kid anymore,
yeah.
young man. I'm not in my 30s anymore. I'm not in my 40s anymore. I'm looked up as an elder in most cases.
hmm
So I need to make sure that I am presenting myself in a mature way.
yeah,
Meaning, I'm not saying that I can't have fun or whatever the case may be, but I'm gonna act my age.
yeah.
I'm gonna be, you know, I'm not gonna be out here wilding out like these 25-year-olds
hmm
trying to be young,
yeah.
you know, but I'm gonna be mature. So if I have an opportunity to speak to someone from that perspective, I want them to be able to listen.
hmm
But if they see me acting a fool, man, I ain't listening to you, man. Look, you're doing what I'm doing.
yeah,
So
yeah. No.
I look at some of my youngest son. Sometimes he's FaceTiming some of his friends. Uh, and I picked up this phrase that my dad used to use back in the days. He would say, "Chief, what's up, Chief?
What's up,
How
Chief?
y'all,
Yeah.
Chief?" So when my kids were younger, especially my youngest son and his friends, I say, "Man, what's going on, Chief?" So now I'm talking about years later. They're out of high school. It's been several years now. They've been out of high school.
Yeah.
He said, "What's going? He said, what your dad doing back there? What's going on, pops? How you doing, Chief?" So it's like some of those things, some of the conversations I had even with some of his friends.
hmm
Hey man, I remember when you used to have them conversations. I used to come to your house back in Colorado. How you doing, man?
yeah.
I ain't forget. I'm still thinking about that.
hmm
It just be those moments. It just be those moments. And now some of them see where when he left Colorado to how he's moving now.
yeah.
Totally different. Man, we trying to come out there to Texas. You got a room for us? I said, man, the inn is full right now. There's no room at the inn right now, man. Look, we at capacity.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh
What I'm
yeah.
saying is, people are watching.
Yeah.
And even though they were not my kids, they were around my kids.
hmm
They heard us share some of the same things with them. that we share with our own kids, and some of those things become stained in their lives,
Yeah.
where they can recall, man, Josh, when I see you, I think about the conversations your dad had with me. Man, all the stuff your dad was talking about, man, look at you now, man. What if your dad didn't come get you? What if all those things, man? We are examples. People are listening. People are watching. We are examples when we don't even know.
Yep. Yep. Definitely. You know,
Yeah.
action's always going to outweigh words. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And one of the hard truths here. Here's the hard truth, guys. Becoming the man you wish you had it's not going to be an easy road.
Yeah.
Because one, it requires discipline. It requires humility. We have to be humble enough to know I don't know everything.
True. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
especially as a dad, you want to teach your kids everything, but you don't know it.
We don't.
You know,
We don't.
I'm sorry to tell you guys, you don't know it. Even if you're a jack of all trades and you're good at woodwork, but metalwork is totally different.
Right.
You know,
Right.
mechanic work is totally different than plumbing. So, in using your hands is what I'm speaking here in this terms, at least. You know, trying to teach your kids that stuff. Um,
Yeah.
if you're not an entrepreneur, you can't teach your kids how to be an entrepreneur.
Correct.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
so you have to be humble enough to be like, okay, I don't know this. Like I said, I don't know this, son. But I'll pray God put somebody in your path. You
Yeah.
know, or maybe you do know someone. So you
Correct.
know what? Hey, I know someone that he comes. Maybe one of your sons comes to, hey, I'm thinking about doing cryptocurrency. I have no idea anything about that.
Right. Right.
You know, but hey, I know someone that does that.
Correct.
Let me see if we can, set up a meeting. He comes over here, we go over there, have lunch, whatever the case may be.
Right.
You know,
Right.
uh, again, sometimes it's admitting that you're still learning.
Yeah.
You know, that's part of being humble. You know, and and like you said, you're in your 50s now, but now you're learning how to be a grandfather. You know,
Yeah.
10, 15 years from now, you're gonna have to learn how to be a great grandfather.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know?
Yeah. That's so true, man. That's so true.
You know,
That's so true.
And so on and so forth. And our learning curve never stops. You know,
Exactly.
growing up from the day you're born to the day you die, you're always going to be learning. You have to be learning, whether you like it or not. But that's part of growth. You know,
It is.
and at the moment a man accepts that responsibility, that's when a lot of things change. That's when everything changes. When you accept, okay, I don't know everything. Let me see. I can only teach my son what I've been taught.
Correct.
Now, if what you've been taught is not ethical and it's not the right way, okay, that's when we go back to the beginning of the podcast. You break these chains.
Got it.
You say,
Makes sense.
Lord, I need help. You know, I don't want my kids going through what I went through. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to show them different. Show me.
Correct.
You know, and then that's when he starts showing you himself, or he'll put people in your way to show
Exactly.
you.
And that's the thing is, I think I'm a life learner. Meaning, what that means is I continue to venture into things that I don't know.
Yeah.
I research things that I have interest in,
Mm-hmm.
and I may not always know someone who might be considered an expert at it, but there are so many tools that are available to us today,
Oh yeah.
to where we don't have an excuse to always stay with nobody taught me, nobody taught me, nobody taught me. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Don't you Google things? Don't you use AI tools, chat GTP or whatever it's called, to look up something?
Yeah.
When you wanted to buy something, don't you go on Amazon and try to find what it is? use that same energy for something you don't know and to learn.
Yeah.
I like to use this concept: learn, teach, send, repeat. You can you can teach while you're still learning. You don't have to be the expert of the totality of a thing to be able to teach it to someone else. Let's say there's 3 modules of a particular program or project, and you've mastered the one, or you've studied one, you've executed, you've done it. You know it. You can teach that to someone else, even though you're still learning.
Yeah.
That's like being a father. You're still a father. You still have a teenage son in your home. Fatherhood doesn't stop when you become 18. You continue to be the father.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you can't teach someone else how to be a father.
Exactly.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So the thing is that as we're learning, we teach. As we're growing, we pour in. It's a continuous cycle. It's a continuous cycle when we recognize that. So my encouragement for others, as you mentioned earlier, we always learning. Don't stop. If it's something you didn't have, and that's something you want to be able to teach others, start doing some research.
Yeah.
Maybe ask or inquire about those that's already in your circle. Hey man, do you know about this? Do you know about that? What about this? Have you heard anything about this? Maybe some of the resources of what you need is people that's already in your circle. Or maybe it's somebody that they know that's in your circle. Or maybe it's time for you just to dig in. It says, you know what, Lord, I need to know about how to lead my family. I need to know how I can mentor my son. He really wants to be in sports, but he's in a sport that I don't know.
Yeah.
How can I come alongside him to show him that I'm for him? You still may not be good at the sport, but you become knowledgeable about the sport.
Yeah.
The rules, the regulations, what is needed to become better. You take it to the next level. Okay, who can I find that I can maybe get a personal trainer, or maybe put him in programs where he can grow. You can mentor. You don't have to be the expert at something to mentor someone.
Absolutely.
To lead someone, to teach someone.
Well, it's just like I think a perfect example would be a teacher.
Yeah.
At school. So you don't go to one teacher and
Yeah.
they teach you math, English,
Exactly right.
writing. No,
Good
you
point.
you go to different teachers. Why? Because this one mastered it here, and not to say she don't know or he doesn't know the math or algebra or calculus or whatever else math there is out there, but their expertise is in English or in history, so then they got to find someone else to teach you the rest.
That's so true.
It's the same thing with being a parent. You only know so much, and we can only retain so much in our brain that we need outside help. We need outside guidance. And yeah, and nowadays it's a click of a button nowadays. And if you don't know someone, it's all right. Look, let's sit down. Let's YouTube a couple videos and see if we can figure this out.
So true, man.
When we're working on our side by side, I'm like, I don't know. I know a lot of mechanic stuff. I know how to do the basics, but when we're getting into there, like I've never worked on it, but we'll YouTube it and we'll figure it out. And sure enough, we'll sit there and like, okay, well he did this, he did that. I need this tool. I don't have it. Okay, let me figure it out. And yeah, it's just you have it at the at the touch of a hand, or a click of a button. You have a lot of information you can get to. Very fast.
Very fast.
Very fast.
Well, Jay, look like we're getting close to our final challenge of this podcast. Why don't you share what that looks like?
So our final challenge for this on this podcast, guys. Here's a question for every man listening today. What kind of man did you wish you had in your life growing up? Now, sit there and think about it. Don't just skim through it and like, oh, I wish I had this. No, there's believe it or not, if you sit there and you ponder on that for a good little while,
Mm-hmm.
there'll be things coming up that
Oh
what I'm
yeah.
saying.
Oh yeah.
You're like, oh man. Now ask yourself this: are you becoming that man for someone else? Whether it's your kids, whether it's people at your workplace, whether it's your employees, are you becoming that man that you wish you had
Mm-hmm.
in your life? Because someone out there might be looking at you for the same way you once looked at someone else, and that's true. I mean, whether it's a positive influence or negative influence, someone influenced us.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
Either way it goes, someone steered us the wrong way or someone steered us the right way. And are you being that person that someone else needs? And again, actions speak louder than words, guys. The way you act, um, walk, talk, present yourself, the way you dress, that speaks a lot more than hey, little man, you know, don't do that,
Right.
dude. You're
Right.
doing it yourself, like you said,
So true.
Um,
So true, man.
do you have any closing messages, Marlon?
Well, I would say this. At the end of the day, guys, here's the truth. None of us can truly become the man in our own strength.
Mm-hmm.
Real transformation begins when we allow God to shape who we are. And if you're out there and you says, "Man, look, Marlo J, I hear what you guys are saying. I'm not in with God like that," and you just sense the pull of the tug on your heart.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, "Man, I wanna be in right relationships with the Lord." It's very simple. It's very simple. What you have to do is just let God in.
Yeah.
He says, "Lord, I wanna sup with you. I want you to be a part of who I am as a person. I wanna repent for my sins. I want to change my ways. I want to be in the sheepfold of the body of Christ. I want to walk the way you want me to walk.
Mm-hmm.
I want to live the way you want me to live. I don't want to surrender my life unto you." It's that simple. See, we can say a simple prayer,
Yeah.
but if your mind is not made up, you're going to go back to doing things the old way.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're serious, the Bible says, "He who calls on the name of the Lord shall be saved." All you
Yeah.
have to do is just let him in and he can go to work. But we have to die to ourselves.
Yeah.
The Bible says we have to die to the natural man, that the spirit man may live. So my encouragement, if you're deciding that right now while you're listening, and you say, "Man, Marlo, I'm locking in right now, to what you're saying. I want that change." We Jay and we're here. You want to message us, you definitely can. We'll pray with you, pray for you. Or maybe there's some that's in your circle, maybe a family member, a friend. That's walking with God, that's in right relationship. Lock arms with them. Reach out to them. Have someone in your corner because we need someone in our corner.
Absolutely.
And I pray that that you will get to that place where you can be who you need to be in the lives of others that are around you for the things you didn't get.
Yeah.
So what we want to do, we just want to thank each and every one of you guys for tuning in to the MR TUSO experience. And we look forward to talking to you again. Take care.
See you later.